What's up YouTube, it's your favorite clout chaser Oaken64 coming at you with a new video in my Let's Buff Blank series. Today we are looking at Gogoat. Gogoat's an Pokemon in most people's opinion, not typically being somebody's first choice when it comes to grass types, and mainly being known for a limited ride in Lumio City and being a Pokeball Pokemon in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As per usual, I will split this video into two parts. The first one is where I give Gogoat more reasonable buffs, where I try to be more conservative with how I increase its stats, and give minimal additions to its move pool. The second is where I will not be abiding by any rules, and I will apply buffs where I see fit. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Firstly, how good was Gogoat in competitive Pokemon? Well, it's been spotty in most games. It has only appeared in 3 out of the 5 mainline Pokemon titles, and only has a genuine niche in 2 of them. In Generation 6, it had a niche of either being a setup sweeper that could heal due to having Milk Drink and Horn Leech, or being a defensive grass type, something that its generational brethren, Gourgeist, could also do. It also faced competition with 2 Eevee-like grass types in Tangela and Roselia. The niche it had at the time was being an amazing special wall, given that its massive 123 HP stat and its respectable special defense of 81, also it had access to Milk Drink, which means that it had more PP than Roselia and Tangela synthesis. Generation 7 had given it no noticeable changes, and since Power Creep pushed more Pokemon down, Victory Bell fell down, which, to quote its Sun and Moon Smogon article, Gogoat suffers from 4 move slot syndrome, leaving it unable to hit poison types such as Skunk Tank and Victory Bell if it chooses to run Rock Slide, or unable to pressure flying and bug type Pokemon such as Dodrio or Koryo Sensu and Scyther if it chooses to run Earthquake. It was not available in Generation 8, so it did not get any move pool additions, and would have filled a similar role given that National Dex allows the use of Z moves and Mega Evolutions. Only in Generation 9 did it get more use, and that is purely because of terrestrialization, where it can change its typing to something that is weak to grass, such as water or ground, 2 better defensive typings in comparison to grass, and it can now utilize Sap Sipper not only as an immunity, but as a way to bolster its attack stat. Gogoat's presence in the competitive metagame has been flickering, even in the absolute lowest of tiers, and I think I understand why. Even though it clearly has the stats to back it up, let us go over Gogoat's strengths and weaknesses. Gogoat has an excellent offensive move pool, boasting having a great setup move in Bulk Up, as well as having Rock Slide and Earthquake, 2 moves that can hit some of its weaknesses super effectively, as well as having access to Milk Drink and Horn Leech, a healing and draining move respectively. Its attack isn't poor either at base 100, and has an ability to further enhance that stat. Its HP stat is very high, and can somewhat mitigate its poor defense, and it enhances its average special defense. All really good qualities for a defensively oriented Pokemon, right? But what gives? Why can't it compete with Pokemon with significantly less stats than it, and are also extremely reliant on an item? Well, it can, but that's just not enough. It needs to outclass these Pokemon, and with its move pool it simply can't do that. It fell to the wayside because it lacked the oomph that the other defensive grasses had. It didn't get knockoff, it doesn't get any entry hazards, and is also vulnerable to every entry hazard itself. Also, grass is just a historically poor defensive typing by itself. Its abilities don't really benefit it in any way either. It's already immune to Leech Seed Spore and Sleep Powder by being a grass type. Although its other ability, Grass Pelt, is rather powerful, it just cannot proc with the right setup, which takes a turn to do because it doesn't get Grassy Surge. And in my opinion, the thing that really kills Gogoat is that it doesn't have utility, and that's what I think it's missing. It's missing its utility. You'll see what I mean when I get to its buffs, but just keep in mind, it needs to do what the other defensive grasses can do in the lower tiers, but better. For the more reasonable buffs, I would increase its speed by 10 and decrease its special attack by the same amount. Gogoat, while having a good special move pool, does not utilize it as much as its physical set because it does not get a good special setup move on the same level as Bulk Up. This will let it be significantly faster and be able to speed creep uninvested base 80s. As for abilities, I think Seed Sower could work wonders, as it cannot instantly set up grassy terrain, but can still reap the benefits of the terrain if it is hit by an attack, healing passively and boosting its Horn Leech. Move pool additions focus more on the utility aspect, adding Stealth Rock, Wish, and U-Turn to its move pool. The idea for these move pool additions is to give it the utility I was talking earlier about. Not only can it heal itself, it can now heal others, it can also provide a terrain and entry hazards, and also pivot up because of U-Turn. This gives it a good gameplay loop of you sending it out, it tanking a hit, it setting terrain, then setting hazards or Wish if it survives, and be able to switch out with U-Turn, and the Pokemon that is coming in receiving a massive heal if Wish was used. A really bulky support cleric. As for the Water buffs, I would just give it Fur Coat. It's one of the best physical walls in the game at that point. It's only backed down by a poor defensive typing. You know, like him. Also, I'd swap its defense and special attack for good measure, make its speed 90, and lower special attack to compensate so it has the same BST. As for movable additions, I would give it Swords Dance, Power Whip, and Close Combat for singles, and for doubles, I would give it Rage Powder and Sleep Powder. I do think these changes would make Gogoat an extremely fierce Pokemon in both formats, as it emulates traits certain other Pokemon have had, and exceeds them in my opinion, as it can run a bulky offensive set akin to Great Tusk, and stomach all physical hits for days and heal it back. Gogoat would also be a physically checking monster in doubles due to its ability to redirect certain moves from its ally, and stomach them off with ease. Certain spread rules would still be a problem for it for sure, but it's considerably bulkier than Amoonguss, while boasting a higher speed. Well, that's it for the video. A few things before I go. I have a sub goal now. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'll do a review of my least favorite Pokemon fan game, Pokemon Reborn. For those who know me personally, I'm not a big fan of this game, but I am a person who likes to understand things, so when that goal is reached, I will review Pokemon Reborn, and you can all join me in this rerun of the Reborn region. Be sure to follow me on my Twitter where I sometimes talk about completely unrelated things regarding my thoughts that day, or see my art. And with that out of the way, this is Open64, signing out.